What's up, guys? It's Saturday, and you know what that means if you're a fish keeper. It's maintenance day. Now, there's going to be two types of fish keepers watching this video. Those that have fewer tanks than me, which I'm at 9 right now because I tore one down, or there's going to be fish keepers that have more tanks than me. If you have more tanks than me, drop comments throughout the video. Let me know what you do. If you have less tanks than me, this video is for you because maybe you want to add some more tanks. But what I want to show you is what I go through every single weekend just to maintain 9 different aquariums. These aquariums range from half a gallon, little cube, all the way up to this 75 gallon here. Some tanks are more established. They don't require much maintenance at all, like the 75 gallon. And other ones, I have to do work on them weekly. So I'm going to go through this video in short kind of little edit cuts here, just to kind of give you an idea of what I do every weekend in order to maintain these tanks and enjoy my hobby. So if you want to see whether you should get more tanks or not, this might skew your decision, or you might not think it's that bad. All right, now on our 75 gallon bass tank here, you can see that it is very well established with plants, and for that reason, I don't really have to do much to this tank. But I do still get algae. We get a little hair algae problem in this tank. I don't know why only in this tank do I get hair algae, and it's only on the slow growing plants, which makes sense. I saw something down here. Where is it? Get in frame. There you go. There's a little black brush right there, or black beard, depending on how you would like to say it. So you can see on the Java fern, these slow growing ferns here, it's the only place that I really get algae. The rest of this tank, let me try and get out of the reflection. The rest of this tank's good, man. You know, with healthy plants, green plants, everything's good to go. I do use fertilizer on this tank. I do just about a half dose from recommended with the API leaf zone. So all we're really going to do in this tank for this part of the video is I'm going to get in here with my scissors and I'm just going to trim back anything that's got algae on it. So I'm going to run around here, do a quick trim just to cut the algae off and make sure it doesn't spread throughout the tank. All right, I got my little trash can here. We'll open up this cabinet, get our scissors here. Now I did forget to mention, for those that are not used to my channel or haven't seen the channel before, I am a home aquarist. So that's what this video is geared around. All right, and as you can see, I am not doing this with any kind of rhyme or reason. Well, there is a reason. There's no real purpose as far as me snipping individual leaves. I'm just going through here wherever I see a little hair algae so that all of it floats to the top and I can remove it. Billy is excited. You can see him right here. What's up, buddy? Don't bite my finger. He's never once attacked me, but I'm always worried he's going to think my finger's a worm and latch on. Not that bass have teeth, but it would still startle you, trust me. This marble queen here has got just a little bit of black algae on the leaf here. Hard to see from this camera angle with the light, but you have to trust me. I'm just going to snip this guy off for the health of the plant. You can see maybe right there on the edge of the leaf, a little bit of that black algae. Plant's going to be fine with a leaf missing. Here's another one that's getting some growth. We'll go ahead and just nip it in the bud. If you would like to own this big, beautiful marble queen, all you got to do is just hop on over to eBay there, search SS Aquascapes, and put it in your cart and check out. I'll ship you one of these guys here. All right, next on this tank here, Billy, he does like to uproot some plants every once in a while. As you may see over here, he likes to dig a bed. I always call him a he, but I do not know if Billy is really a he or a she bass. But for now, he's a he. But sometimes these plants get uprooted here. Go through here and I just kind of replant them. This is the Vallisneria, and we'll just kind of move some of this substrate back over, fill in the hole so that Billy can dig the hole again. Thank you, Billy. Appreciate that. Can't have nothing nice with a largemouth bass around. And next in the cabinet here, we're about due for a CO2 refill, but I'm not going to do it in this video here. There's other videos I have of this CO2 system, as well as filling it and how I feel about it. If you want to find those two videos, just search CO2 on my channel. All right, just give it a little wipe down here, and that's going to do it, guys. Tank number 1 done. Maybe like 20 minutes. I was looking for my watch, which I don't have. I almost fell over right there. Okay, on to the next tank. Moving into the living room here, we have the 10-gallon Molly tank here. This tank is one of my favorites. I love this tank. I do nothing to this tank. The only thing I have to do is top off the water due to the evaporative effect. That's what we're going to do right now. Top off the water. That's it. This tank doesn't need anything. Give you a quick closer look. There you go. As you can see, plants are growing in fantastic for those that are following this tank. Got a nice root system going on here. Or with focus, there we go. Root systems are doing great on the Anubias Nana Goldens. The Bucephalantra here is finding its place and poking its little head out there to get a little light. The S. repens continues to fill in, as well as my snail population. My goodness, that's why this tank is probably crystal clear all the time. Holy geez-ow, the snails have been populating like crazy. That's okay. I don't mind snails. They keep the tank looking like this. So let's just top the water off here. Nothing to do in this tank. Yeah, now this bucket is full here because this is what I use to top off my tanks on the rack. But it's already dechlorinated tap water and it's been sitting for about a week. So that's what we use to top off the Molly tank. What you guys know about this, huh? Name the fish in that painting. That's old school right there. There's no trick to this, guys. All I do, bucket on the knee, hose in the bucket, little prime, and a little top off. That's it. By the way, if throughout this video you guys have any questions on anything you see in any of the tanks, just pause the video, drop a comment. I'll try and answer everything out for you. It's a little lighter now. All right, now that the 10-gallon is done, that was easy breezy, right? We're gonna move into the office slash most of the fish room in this house and go through these tanks here. Let's start with the little fish bowl here because this is no maintenance as well. All right, our 3-gallon fish bowl here. Nothing really to do. It uses RO water. I did recently top it off. Got some chili rasboros in here that will never chili up. I don't know why they won't chili up, but by chili up, I mean they won't turn red, guys. Anyway, they're happy little guys. You can see they like to follow the tweezers. They think I'm going to feed them right now. Ah, what the heck? Let's feed them. Got a little bit of First Start powder here by Hikari. I think it's called First Start. Anyway, it's like fry food. There, that's all the maintenance we need. This tank's done. This bowl started out as a disaster, but it is definitely coming into its own now. So I like this tank, or bowl, or whatever. All right, we're done with the bowl. Up next here is the little 1/2-gallon, was snail breeding tank. Now it is a red cherry shrimp culling tank. Lots of clear cherry shrimp in here. This is the computer rig where all of your videos get edited. This is on my desk here, which is why you get the computer in the background here. And all we need to do is a water top off. Yesterday I did change the filter floss out in the filter. I have a little cup here. Remember that blue bucket with our dechlorinated tap water? Just grab a cup of this. Just top this off. That's it. Little top off. Now oddly enough, you see the fan here on the computer blowing air across. The evaporative effect on this aquarium is ridiculous. I do have to top it off like every 2 days. So that is a kind of a nightly task almost. But that's it. This aquarium here absolutely has come into its own as well. Perfectly balanced, and don't have to do anything to it. I really do enjoy this little tank. All right, keeping up with low maintenance theme here, the plant grow out tank. It has settled itself in very nicely. The flagfish and the Siamese algae eaters keep this thing looking great. Don't need to scrape the glass, though I do. Last week I did use a little scrubber. Where is it? This little scrubber pad here, which has only been used for fish tanks. Go inside there and I did scrub the glass down. Had a little bit of dust algae on it, but that was done last weekend. This weekend doesn't really need anything. A little bit of plant trim and a little bit of replant is what we're going to do in this tank. And then a little top off. We'll top off afterwards so I don't overfill it with my arm in the tank. All right, all of our trimming's done here. Put our Hygger tools back. Hygger sent me these tools and I really like them. They're inexpensive. You like to get a set for yourself, you can find them on Amazon there. I'll put a link down in the description. But they work pretty well. As you can see, I like to hang mine on a little magnet strip here. But great set of tools. Haven't had any issues with them binding up or rusting or anything like that. Finish hasn't come off. They work out good for me. So if you'd like a set, go ahead and drop that in the description for you. Hygger is a channel sponsor, just to let you know. Next thing we got to do is top off the water. All right, topping off the water in this tank, easy enough. Just 5-gallon bucket, right on in there. I like to pour it over the plants there so they kind of buffer it. Don't stir up the sand too much. Now if I do an actual water change, I'll use my Hygger pump straight from the sink. That will get her filled up quick and easily. But for top offs, I just use the bucket. There we go, all filled up. All right, as always, just a quick wipe down on the glass here. Make sure that's all good to go. Now you may or may not have noticed the filtration or the flow. No need to check the filter on this either. It's running a flue valve canister. It's flowing fine, filtering fine, water's crystal clear. Well, I stirred it up a little bit, but you understand. This tank is done. For my OG viewers, you guys are getting little sneak peeks. You don't normally get to see my mess, as every fish keeper has their little secret stash of food and garbage and upcoming video parts and just stuff everywhere. But this tank's done. Let's move on to the real maintenance. All right, now we get to do these 4 tanks. While these are 2 5-gallons and 2 10-gallons, some of my smallest tanks, boy, they take up the majority of my time every single weekend. I don't really know where to start. Maybe we'll just go in order, left to right, top to bottom. Yeah, let's just get onto it. Oh, Mr. Shrimp Tank, Mr. Shrimp Tank, do you need some work? We've got dust, algae all over the glass here, which isn't a problem as far as the health of the shrimp. This is a sun-kissed orange Neocaridina shrimp breeding tank, and they love to just graze on that stuff, but you can't really see what's going on in there. So step 1 is going to be getting our handy dandy scrubber, my little scrubber pad, and we're going to just give her an old scrub a scrub. Now I just like to use this hand scrubber. I find it's just easier to get in here, get your hand wet, get it scrubbed, get it done. You could use little glass scrapers maybe every 2 days, kind of go over the glass with a little glass scraper. You know, these guys right here, these little magnetic ones, I have them. I never use them. Maybe that's why I have this issue. But this is how I do it. I'm going to get this clean. We'll come back when the glass is clean. Okay, now that we scrubbed the glass, you can see we dirtied up all the water here. So we're going to siphon some water out and do a water change. I have this hose here because this is a breeding tank and I've got little teeny tiny baby shrimp in there. I don't like to suck them up and throw them out in the garden. So I have this screen on here, very fine mesh screen here. And that's how I will filter the water out. I'm not worried about getting the debris out of there. I'm worried more about just getting the water out. I've got a bucket down here right below the tank, and we're just going to go ahead and siphon the water out. And here you can see why we do the water change. That is some pretty green-brown water. Now I did scrape off all the dust algae, so that's why it's got more of a green tint. But normally this water is kind of yellowy. I do like to do a water change on it. The shrimp do seem to appreciate it as well. I do about a 75% change. The reason is, if we come over here, you can see I always get some shrimpies, move hose. I always get some shrimps kind of trapped back in this area here, and they need a little bit of water so that they can, you know, well, survive. So I'm gonna take this filter off. Normally I clean it. I'm actually gonna change the filtration on this tank. I'll show you why here in a sec. Now, why am I gonna change the filter? Well, for one, I broke my lily pipe. So I kind of rigged it back together here like so. It really should look kind of like that. Well, it's kind of funny because I put the spin pipe on here to lower the flow, but now I get such a high surface film on there that I need to have some sort of aeration in this tank. Otherwise, that surface film completely blocks the oxygen exchange, and these poor little guys look like they were choking to death. So I put an air stone in there. Now I went with the Neo air stone because I do like their diffuser stones. But this little guy, he makes some noise here. So I hear that noise when I am all the way across the room working on my computer. Even when I'm sitting in the living room, I can hear it in the background. And I don't like noises with my aquarium. A little hum, that's okay. A little filter hum, that's fine. But I have a thing. I get irritated with these constant repetitive bubbling noises and stuff. So we're going to swap this filter out for a Hygger filter. Now I think part of the fun of this hobby is playing around with different things. While Hygger is a sponsor of the channel, they did not sponsor this filter. I bought this one on Amazon. I'll leave a link to it if you would like one as well. And it's a smaller version of the one that we put in the Dragon Valley Aquascape right down here. I really like this filter. It hasn't clogged up, the flow stays great, and it has an adjustment. You can adjust the flow. But this is the little smaller one. Let me show you real quick. Get it out of here. So it's just a littler guy. And for a 5-gallon, maybe you can see it up here, it should fit in there just fine. And if I'm not mistaken, let me check here. Yes, I can already see it in there. There's one of those little air lines, and one of those little air lines that goes onto the nozzle and it'll spray air out. So I can either get surface agitation or I can use this aerator here. And it might be a little bit quieter than having this air stone here. And I might get better water flow than this jerry rig thing I got going on there. I need to order a new lily pipe for it, just haven't gotten around to it. But I like to play. We're going to give this guy a shot, see how Hygger holds up. So anyway, I'm going to take this filter off. I'm going to put this filter on. We're going to let the drip system fill this back up here. And then this maintenance for this tank will be done, and I'll show you when we're all set up. All right, we got the Hygger filter installed over here. This is still filling up, you know, it's a shrimp tank, so you got to fill it nice and slow, but it's filling up. Hey, there's a snail in there. How the heck did we get a snail in there? I have no idea how he got in there, but, oh, I know. He probably crawled up over here and across and down. That's a blue snail from over here. Sneaky, sneaky little guy.
I am very, very sneaky, sir.
All right. I'm not looking forward to this. I don't know why I decided to make a hair grass aquarium. It's doing fantastic, and our Blue Dream shrimp breeding is going very well. Focus, there's one. So they're growing up now. You guys can actually see them. Last video you couldn't really see the little guys, but now you can see them crawling around on the sand and stuff there. So they're having a good old time, and they have lots to eat in here. But we have another algae problem. Me and hair algae. I am just a hair algae connoisseur here. There we go. You can see the hair algae. Look at this good old hair algae. Now it comes off really easy, and I can do this kind of every week and just pull it out. Look at that. I'll never get it all out. Once you've got this hair algae, you have one string and it's going to keep growing. The shrimp like it. It's good for breeding. Wow, there's a lot growing in here. But I need to trim the hair grass, make it a little more presentable for backdrops in the videos and things like that. Sorry, my speech is kind of interrupted here. I am amazed at this, how much hair algae is coming out of this grass. I knew there was a bunch in here, but goodness me. Look at that. Look at this ball that I pulled out of here. Healthy though. Look how green it is. Okay, where was I? You can't see the rocks. See, there's a rock down here. It's supposed to be kind of an iwagumi. I'm going to give it the old trimmy trim. Now, I don't mind trimming the hair grass. It's actually pretty fun. It's like mowing the lawn by hand. However, you got to get it all off the surface. Ugh, and it sucks. Let's just say it. Let's say it. It sucks. So let's just get it done. Enough talking. Time lapse? You want a time lapse? Yeah, let's time lapse this one real fast. Fast. All right, did you guys enjoy the quick time lapse and the quick music? But this is what I came up with. It looks a little ratty in the back, kind of like a shaggy dog. But well, there it is. What am I going to say, right? It's trimmed to the best of my ability at this point. I could spend another hour probably and really like get a smooth taper, and I am happy with it the way it is right now. But this one is done. We're still filling up over here. So while we're filling up over there, again, it's a slow trickle, so that's why it's taking so long. But this is the process I go through. Moving on, we're going to go down here to another trimming disaster. Let's talk about this Walstad. This little 10-gallon Walstad, while at some points the joy of my life, other times it is the bane of my existence. And we're at a point now where we're going to start thinking about rescaping this or tearing it down. The plants in the back are kind of getting yellow. I don't know if they're choking each other out or if they're running out of nutrients in that little cushion of soil back there. This dark brown plant here, this is the Rotala atra, and I'm guessing it's running out of nutrients. It's so dense and so thick that it's either choking itself out via light, but I have the light literally right over top of it, or it's running out of nutrients. Our Ludwigia Super Red Mini, you saw in the grow out tank how red my Ludwigia is. This is not doing so hot. It's more kind of pinky orange. And I'm guessing, again, nutrient deficiency. Boy, you look up front here, and here's my hand for scale. Our, what is this up front? Glossostigma. The glossostigma here is reaching for the light. Possibly the root system has gone down and found the nutrient in this sublayer here. This is something to consider when you have a large number of tanks, that one of these maintenance sessions, you're going to have to spend some time in one or two of your tanks and really clean them up. I'll show you what kind of mess we have at the top, and then we'll net it out. Thought you might just like a quick intermediary update, so this is kind of where we're at, where we're going to go with it, about this height right here. All right, we got it trimmed up here. Man, this tank does look good once you get it trimmed up. You can see in the back how I tapered and kind of trimmed like a hedge in your front yard. Look at all the snails. Now you can see how many snails and stuff are in this tank. Whew, man, we got to get a bigger tank for these guys. Anyway, where are we at here? Yeah, that's where we're at. Yeah. So I got to fish all this out, pun intended, because we've got a lot of fish. So I have to fish the plants away from the fish. Going to take care of this issue here.
Doc, what are you doing, man?
And then we'll be back for the water change here. Maybe you can kind of see the yellowing. We'll talk about it. All right, looking good, looking good. Got the surface all cleaned up here. Let me raise you up and show you. There you go. Getting all the stuff off of here wasn't quite as bad as the hair grass. Bigger leaves, of course, so just easy to kind of pull the plant trimmings out. The fish, for the most part, got out of the way. So did the shrimp, so not a big deal. But now you can see the water's a little yellow. Now, I had tried to convince myself that it was a little bit of tannin from this teeny amount of wood that I have in here, and it could very well be. That wood could be at the point where it's rotting now, since it's not really an aquarium wood. I just snipped it from a bush out in my backyard. But I think more it's urea. And so every week I am doing a water change on this filtered Walstad, and that's what we're going to do now. Going to do about a 75% water change, kind of trickle, fill it back up the way that we did with the shrimp tank, which, by the way, the shrimp tank is filled up there. You can see we've got our Hygger filter in here with the spray bar on it. Let's go ahead and turn it on. I think I have it on full blast right now, so let's give it a shot. All right, now for filtration, I did take Hygger's sponge out of here, and I put in 100% filter floss. I am a filter floss freak. I love it, and so that's what we're going to use. Now, full blast with the spray bar, it's not that powerful. I'm not saying the filter isn't powerful. I'm saying it's reduced the flow down enough. It's a low enough flow for the shrimp that they're not fighting too hard against the current. We've got our current going out this way and coming down and around, and it should be the lowest flow when it gets back here, which is being sucked back into the filter. And this is where I feed them. So, but I think the spray bar is going to work out very nicely up here. It's given just enough surface agitation that I think we can get oxygenation. We should be able to prevent that biofilm that builds up on top of the water surface. So we'll see how it goes. Of course, we'll give you updates in another video at a later time. While I was transferring the files over to the computer, I went ahead and started filling this tank up here. We were trickling it for a while. Now we've got kind of a higher flow, and it always looks great with fresh, clean water. Let me show you why I do a water change on this every week now. Because this is the water that I pull out of here every single week. Just a browny, yellow, stained water. You can really see kind of the quality of the water. I wouldn't want to swim around in that and get that in my mouth, so that's the way I treat my fish. Give them some nice clean water there. They do seem to always enjoy it. They play in the freshwater stream. Doesn't seem to bother the shrimp and stuff. Neocaridina, they're pretty good at water changing. So that's about filled up there, and we'll be good to go. No filter cleaning on this. I literally just did it a couple of days ago because I had no flow. That leaves us with one more tank. Now, fortunately, the Dragon Valley is our newest aquascape, and while it is going through a couple of issues and some problems here, we're letting it cycle through and fix itself, kind of work out those little issues by itself. There are just two things I want to do here. One, I want to get this little bit of algae, just a little bit of dust algae off the glass, and then I want to trim our Ludwigia Super Red Mini. You can see this stuff is doing fantastic. So I'm going to trim that, move some of them over here. We have a little bit of algae still kind of around on the plants, a little bit on the rocks here, but it was way worse a few days ago, and it's clearing up. I did put two of the flagfish in here. They like to hide. They're back there behind the Ludwigia. But I put two flagfish in there from this tank, as well as one of the Siamese algae eaters, like that little guy in the back there. So I put those guys over here in the tank to feed around at night and chew up and eat that algae. Our snail population has grown as well. Maybe that's contributing to the algae cleanup. I don't know, but we're getting better. Not too much maintenance to do on this tank because we want it to cycle through and stabilize itself. So I'm not doing water changes. I will maybe test the water parameters off camera, but I don't see an issue at this point. I tested the water last week. It was fine. I don't see why it would be any different. I'm going to get that done. We'll be back for some final thoughts. And there we have it. Look at that beauty. She's looking good with the top plants trimmed out there. Just barely peeking over the top of the rocks there. Our background plants looking great. Fish are happy. Glass is clean. Everything's looking good. Again, not doing a water change. Went ahead and tested the water and decided to put it on camera here because, haters gonna hate, right? There's your test results from left to right: pH, ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate. So if you're familiar with API's test kit and what the colors should look like, our water parameters are fantastic. So this tank is settling in. Algae's clearing up. Plants are starting to take over. Our cleanup crew's doing their job. It's looking great. All right, let's do a brief overview. All right, the 75-gallon, which the light has turned off on its timer here. All we did was pull some algae leaves off of some plants and replant the plants that Billy has torn up here. On the guppy tank here, we just topped off the water. That's it. Shrimp bowl, well, the 3-gallon bowl. Nothing maintenance-wise on this one. The half-gallon nano cube on my desk, we just topped off the water. The 40-gallon plant propagation tank, all we did was trim some plants and top off the water. The 5-gallon Neocaridina orange sun-kissed shrimp tank, we scrubbed the glass and did a full water change on it and added a new filter. Our Blue Dream Neocaridina shrimp tank, we trimmed the hair grass, and that's it. Again, on the filtered Walstad, we trimmed the glossostigma and did a full water change on it. No filter cleaning or change there. And then we just did this one, so you know what we did here. And there we go. How about a different view for the outro? Since you guys have seen some behind the scenes stuff, now you kind of get to see what I stare at when I'm doing your video editing. So how long did it take me to do all this? Well, hang on. All right, studio light back on. So how long did it take me to do all this? Well, 5.5 hours. Now, let's be generous and take an hour off of that for YouTube stuff, right? Moving tripods, setting up cameras, getting a couple of thoughts in my head about what I want to say. So let's be generous, knock off an hour, though I pretty much just tell you what's on my mind as I'm going through this. But let's say that it took me an hour extra to make this video content or film the video content. So I would say allot yourself 4.5 hours to maybe 5 hours per week just to go through and do your maintenance. Your maintenance is going to change per week. Some weeks you're going to do a big plant trim and water change like I did here. Other weeks, all you're going to do is maybe scrub the glass and do a quick plant trim, or maybe just a water change. It's going to vary. But with 9 tanks, there's always something to do. And when you add more, there's always more to do, right? The hobby is great and it's a lot of fun, and I had a great time making this video. But if you're looking to add more tanks to your collection, add 30 minutes of maintenance for every tank that you want to add. So you got 1 tank, probably take you about 30 minutes to maintain it. 2, about an hour. 3, you get where I'm going with this. That would be how I'd break it down. And these were smaller tanks. Now, if you're doing all 150-gallon tanks or something like that, I can't help you there. I don't know how long it takes to maintain big 200-gallon tanks. The point of this is enjoy the hobby, but don't let it get out of hand. You start getting a lot of tanks, just keep in mind you're going to be putting more time into the hobby than maybe you want. All right, I appreciate you guys watching, and if you're all the way to the end here, I want you to vote down in the comments on the next video. Do you want me to do the 22-gallon bookshelf style riverscape first with its self-contained flowing river? Or do you guys want to just jump right into the subscriber tank? Those that know what I'm talking about, we could do that. Those that don't know what I'm talking about is this 7-gallon tall cube. You're going to choose from multiple choice options, and every step of this tank build is going to be dictated by the subscribers. So if you want in on that, go ahead and vote for that. If you want this to be the next video, or if you want to see me do a complicated riverscape with immersed growth and all that kind of stuff, then vote river. So river tank or subscriber tank. Go ahead and drop your comment down below. All right, guys, thanks for watching and tuning in again. I always appreciate your support. Thanks for the subscriptions you've given me so far, and thanks for the ones you're gonna give me. Hint, hint. I'll catch you guys on the next one.